The galaxy was once full of light, voices, and peace. 17 great alien civilizations had formed the Galactic Unity Coalition for centuries. They worked together. They shared knowledge, built beautiful cities on many planets, and ended wars. Between worlds, together, they believed nothing could break them. They were wrong. From the edge of the galaxy came something terrible. No one knew where it came from. It had no face, no voice, and no mercy. The enemy was known only as the Vork swarm. At first, the Coalition laughed. "What are insects to starships?" they said. But laughter turned to fear. The Vork were not just bugs. They were a hive, billions of living machines connected by a single mind. They moved fast, attacked without warning, and ate everything: metal, air, even light. Planet after planet fell. One week, it was the Durandi skies turning black with swarm wings. The next, it was the ice worlds of Triona, cracking under the weight of crawling horrors. No matter how strong the Coalition ships were, the swarm always came back with more. Admiral Zirith, a proud warrior from the crystal-skinned Valnari, stood on the bridge of his ship, Starfire's End, watching the last battle of Firaxis Prime unfold. Round him, officers barked orders, but it was hopeless. Shields at 12%. Hull breach on decks 6 through 9. Evacuation ships destroyed. No way out, Admiral. He said nothing. His black eyes stared at the screen. Outside, fire danced across the sky. The Coalition's most powerful defense platform exploded in a burst of orange light. It had taken 20 years to build. The swarm destroyed it in 20 seconds. "This is the end," whispered his second-in-command, a feathered Zalari captain. Her voice shook. Zirith closed his eyes. "No, it's not the end. Not yet." With what little power was left, he ordered the command data maps, swarm patterns, last known survivor locations sent into deep space. It was a gamble. He aimed the message not at his own people, but toward a forgotten corner of the galaxy, a place no one dared speak of anymore. Many years ago, the Coalition had met a species unlike any other. They were loud, stubborn, and never followed orders. Their world was called Earth, and they called themselves humans. The humans rose fast. In just a few hundred years, they built ships, joined galactic talks, and started pushing for more control. Some said they were brilliant, others said they were dangerous. In the end, the Council voted to isolate Earth. Too emotional, too chaotic. And so, humans disappeared from the stars. No one had heard from them in nearly 80 years. Now, in the dark silence after Firaxis fell, Zirith's message raced across the stars through ruined sectors and broken beacons. Most signals died before reaching anyone, but this one survived, on a quiet blue planet, spinning near a yellow sun. Earth's old listening posts were still active, forgotten by time. One of them blinked red. A signal had been received. A technician, young and bored, looked up from his drink. His eyes widened as the data scrolled across the screen. He hit the alarm. Back on Valnari's last station, Admiral Zirith stood among his wounded crew. The station was falling apart. Oxygen was low. The swarm was coming. He didn't know if his message had reached anyone. He didn't know if Earth even cared. But he smiled anyway, a tired, hopeful smile. "Let them know we did not die without trying," he said. Then the lights went out. Far across the galaxy, in Earth's underground Terran Defense Council, red lights flashed. Generals, scientists, and leaders stared at the recovered transmission. "Is this real?" someone asked. "It's old." "Coalition code," said another. "It's not a trick." They watched the final seconds of Firaxis. The swarm. The fall. The last words. "Anyone, please?" The room went quiet. An old general stood. Her hair was white, her eyes sharp. "Get me Project Revenant," she said, "and wake up the fleet." A young officer blinked. "Ma'am, but we haven't launched in I know how long it's been," she said. "The galaxy turned its back on us. But they need us now." She looked at the stars on the display screen. "Let's show them what humans really are." The signal had changed everything. For almost 80 years, Earth stayed silent. After being removed from the Galactic Unity Coalition, Humans stopped building large fleets and turned their eyes back to their home system. They told the stars goodbye. No one called them, no one visited. Many believed Earth had gone dark forever, but Earth had not forgotten. Deep underground, beneath the rocky surface of the Andes Mountains, was a hidden command center called the Terran Defense Council. It was quiet for many years. Only a small team of scientists and soldiers kept it alive, running routine checks and guarding systems no one expected to use again. Then the signal came. In a cold room filled with blinking lights, Commander Lena Grant stood before a large screen. She had served Earth for decades. Her voice was calm but firm. "We have a choice," she said to the room of leaders. "We can stay quiet, or we can answer." She turned to the other officers, advisors, engineers. Some looked afraid. Others looked ready. "Why should we help them?" asked a council member. "The coalition rejected us. They treated us like a disease." "They made a mistake," Lena said. "And now their people are dying." Another general stepped forward. His name was Colonel Dean Voss, a veteran of Earth's last space war. "We don't do this for them," he said. "We do this because it's right, because if the swarm reaches Earth, no wall will be high enough to stop it." The room fell silent. Then, one by one, heads nodded. Earth would return to the stars. In the hangars of the Terran Fleet Command, lights flickered on for the first time in years. Massive ships, hidden beneath oceans and mountains, were pulled from deep storage. Crews ran through cold halls. Engines roared as old war machines came back to life. But Earth didn't plan to send regular troops. They had something else, kept secret even for most of the Council. Project REVENANT. In a secret base in lunar orbit, 12 dark ships floated quietly. Their designs were strange, sharper than old warships, covered in black armor that shifted like water. Each ship was piloted by a human connected directly to an AI system. These were not ordinary soldiers. They were Revenant's elite warriors. Trained for years in silence, they were faster, smarter, and stronger than anything Earth had sent before. At the heart of the fleet stood the Revenant flagship, Nightfall. Inside, Commander Reyes, a tall man with calm eyes and a steel spine, prepared for launch. He had trained his entire life for a mission like this. But until now, Earth never gave the order. A voice came through his headset. "Commander Reyes, mission confirmed. You are go for jump." He nodded, standing before his crew, each one hand-picked, trained for deep combat, and connected through neural links. "We're not going out there for glory," he said. "We're not going to be heroes. We're going because no one else." His left, he looked at the screen showing the galaxy map, marked with red systems lost to the Vorik. "We bring the fire. We take back the stars." For Earth, his crew shouted. And the black ships vanished into faster-than-light travel. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, survivors were losing hope. On a broken moon near the Darwin system, a small group of aliens from different worlds hid in underground tunnels. They had no food, no way off the planet, and no help coming. Among them was Mira, a young engineer from the soft-skinned Thaline species. She sat beside a broken comms unit, trying to fix it for the 5th time. "It's useless," said an old Jarnik soldier beside her. "No one's out there. The swarm took everything." Mira didn't look up. "Not everything," she whispered. Suddenly, the ground shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. They braced for another attack. But instead of claws and shrieks, they heard something else, a deep, powerful hum from above. Mira ran to the surface hatch. She opened it slowly, fearing what she might see. What she saw didn't make sense. Dark, sharp ships hovered above the surface. They didn't look like coalition vessels. They moved with purpose, targeting Vorik structures and destroying them with clean, silent blasts. Their weapons lit up the night sky with blue fire. And then Mira saw them, figures in black armor dropping from the ships like shadows, each one moving faster than anything she'd seen. They weren't aliens. They were human. The survivors stood, frozen as the battle ended. One of the black-armored humans approached them. He removed his helmet, revealing a scarred but calm face. "We got your signal," he said simply. Mira stared at him. You're from Earth." He nodded. Thought. You were gone. He smiled faintly. We were. Now we're back. Asterisk. The name Revenant spread like fire across the galaxy. No one knew exactly who they were or where they had come from. Some believed they were machines. Others said they were ghosts from Earth's past. But one thing was clear: the Revenants were destroying the Vork, one battle at a time. They didn't use huge fleets like the old galactic unity. They came in small units, silent and deadly. They moved like shadows and hit with the force of suns. Where others had failed, the Revenants succeeded. They were fast. They were fearless. And they were human. Commander Reyes stood at the center of the Nightfall. The lead Revenant ship. He studied a holographic map of the galaxy. Red dots marked systems under Vork control. There were too many. The swarm had grown stronger with every victory. But now, they were retreating, slowly, confused. They were not used to losing. A voice buzzed in Reyes' ear. Sir, our team has cleared the mining colony on Delta 6. No human losses. Swarm tunnels collapsed. Survivors rescued. Good, Reyes replied. Send them medical aid. Prepare the next jump. The officer hesitated. Sir, we've received a message, a request for alliance. Reyes raised an eyebrow. From who? The Valnari. The Valnari had once been proud members of the Galactic Unity. Now, they were scattered, hiding in asteroid belts and ruined spaceports. Few had ships left. Even fewer had hope. But one name still gave them courage: Zereth, the Valnari admiral, who had sent the original signal to Earth. He had survived, barely, and now led a small fleet of refugees. His face appeared on the Nightfall screen, worn and tired. Commander Reyes. Zereth said with a small bow. You answered when no one else could. Reyes nodded. We don't forget a call for help. I was wrong about your kind. Zereth admitted. We all were. The Council feared your strength. We should have feared your silence. We're not here to punish, Reyes said. We're here to finish the war. Zereth leaned forward. Then let us stand with you, not behind you but beside. Reyes paused. Then he gave a rare smile. Welcome aboard, with the Valnari joining them. The Revenants gained not just ships but information. The Valnari had tracked the Vork's movements for years. They knew where the swarm went. They knew how it thought. What they didn't know was where it came from. But the humans had a plan. Deep beneath the Nightfall's core was a room known as the Ghost Chamber. Only a few were allowed to enter. Inside, human scientists and A's worked. Together, studying pieces of fallen Vork. They were learning. The Vork were not just insects or machines. They were a mix of both. Biomechanical creatures grown in strange ways, using stolen technology. They learned from every battle, adjusted their attacks, and repaired faster than any known species. But they had one weakness: a central mind, a queen. Or perhaps a network that connected all the swarm across space. It was well hidden, possibly located in the Vork core nexus. A dark region in deep space where no coalition ship had ever returned from. Commander Reyes called a meeting with his captains. We've pushed them back, he said, pointing at the galaxy map. But it won't last. They're growing again, deeper in the core. We can't keep fighting forever, said Captain Mira, the young engineer the Revenants rescued from Darwin. We won't, Reyes said. We take the fight to them. We go to the Nexus. A silence fell over the room. One captain asked, That's a suicide mission. Reyes looked at him. Not if we strike fast. We don't need to destroy every drone. Just the heart. We take out the mind, the body dies, as the Revenant fleet prepared. More survivors across the galaxy joined their cause. The Alari, with their speed ships, offered warp tech. The Thalene sent medics. Even the silent Morkan offered cloaking devices. For the first time in many years, the galaxy began to unite again. Not under fear, not under rules, but under hope. And behind it all were the humans, the forgotten species, once cast out. Now leading the charge. The day before the Nexus jump, Reyes stood alone on the Nightfall's viewing deck. Stars filled the sky like scattered diamonds. Mira walked in quietly. You should rest, she said. I will, he answered, after we end this. She looked at him. Do you think we'll survive? He didn't answer right away. Then he said, It's not about survival. It's about making sure others can. They stood in silence for a moment, watching the stars. Then the alarms chimed. The fleet was ready. The jump through hyperspace was smooth but tense. The Revenant fleet moved like shadows cutting across the dark fabric of space. No one spoke. No one relaxed. Every star on their path was a step closer to the heart of danger. Commander Reyes stood on the bridge of the flagship Nightfall, watching the stars blur as faster-than-light travel carried them toward the Vork core nexus. Behind him, the allied ships of the Valnari, Alari, Valine, and others filled the fleet. The galaxy had never seen such a united front since the days of the Galactic Unity Coalition. But this was no celebration. This was war. As the fleet emerged from hyperspace, a cold silence greeted them. The Nexus was a dark region, filled with dead stars and strange energy storms. No one knew what waited inside. Sensors scanned the area, but there was little to find. No normal ships, no large Vork swarms. "Why is it so quiet?" asked Captain Mira, her voice low with worry. Ray shook his head. "Because they're waiting." Suddenly, alarms blared. The fleet's screens filled with red warnings. Swarm drones. Hundreds of thousands approaching fast. The battle had begun. The Vork attacked like a wave of black fire. Drones swarmed toward the fleet, clawing and biting through shields. The Revenant's black ships moved with deadly speed, firing precise blasts of energy that tore through the enemy. But this was not like any fight before. The Vork were desperate. Their attacks were wild but powerful. Trying to overwhelm the defenders with sheer numbers, Reyes ordered, "Focus fire on the hive anchors. Cut their supply." The allied ships worked together, combining their weapons and technology. Valnari lasers burned bright. Alari warp disruptors slowed down enemy waves. Thaline medics moved through transport ships, healing wounded pilots. Still, the drones kept coming. In the middle of the chaos, the Revenants moved like ghosts. Piloting their dark ships with perfect skill, they struck at the swarm's weak points. They used new weapons developed in Earth's lab's quantum pulse cannons, and graviton bombs designed to collapse the Vork tunnels and communication links, one by one. The drones fell. One by one, the swarm weakened. Deep inside the Nexus, the Vork Queen watched the battle. A giant creature made of living metal and light. Her many eyes glowed with rage. "They come to die," she hissed in a voice that echoed through the swarm mind. She sent her elite guards to fight the Revenants directly. Reyes received the warning. "Prepare for boarding party. Elite Vork warriors incoming." The Revenants readied their weapons, tightening their formation. The boarding battle was brutal. Claws clashed with blades, energy shields sparked and cracked. Human soldiers fought with a fierceness no alien had ever seen. Among the Revenants was Mira, who had joined the fight with determination born of hope and survival. She moved through the chaos, repairing systems and providing cover fire. When the battle finally ended, the elite guards were defeated, but at a cost. After hours of fighting, the fleet pushed deeper into the Nexus. They found a massive structure, pulsing with dark energy. It was the heart of the Vork swarm, the Neural Throne. Reyes and his team knew this was the target. Destroy it, and the swarm would collapse. The plan was risky. The Neural Throne was protected by layers of defense energy shields, traps, and the Queen's loyal guards. Reyes led a strike team to board the structure. The rest of the fleet held off the swarm outside. Inside, the halls were alive with strange light and sound. The air hummed with power. The Neural Throne seemed almost alive. Reyes stood before it, feeling a cold wave wash over him. He raised his weapon, a specially designed quantum detonator. "Let's end this," he said. As the detonator activated, the structure began to collapse. Energy crackled wildly. The Queen's roar filled the air. Outside, the fleet saw the explosion. A bright flash lit the Nexus, followed by silence. No more drones. No more swarm. The Vork were defeated. Back on the Nightfall, Reyes looked at the stars. Now peaceful again. Mira joined him. "We did it," Reyes nodded. "The galaxy is free." But he knew the fight was not over. "We have to rebuild, protect. What's left." The galaxy had been broken, but humanity's return had changed everything. For the first time, the stars belonged to everyone again. The explosion at the neural throne echoed across the dark reaches of the Vork core nexus. For the first time in centuries, the endless waves of black drones stopped. Silence fell. The galaxy held its breath. Commander Reyes stood on the bridge of the Nightfall. Outside, stars twinkled quietly as the vast fleet gathered after the final battle. Status report. Reyes ordered. The communications officer responded. All enemy activity has ceased in the Nexus. No signs of swarm drones anywhere. Reyes felt a weight lift from his shoulders. After so long, the nightmare was over. Beside him, Captain Mira wiped sweat from her brow. She looked tired but hopeful. "We won," she said softly. "Yes," Reyes replied. "But victory is just the start." Back on the surface worlds, news traveled fast. The survivors of many races, who had once hidden in fear, now celebrated. The Galactic Unity Coalition was no more, broken by war and loss. But something new was forming, a fresh alliance, built on trust and the lessons learned from the swarm's destruction. At the heart of this new alliance was Earth. The humans, once isolated and doubted, had returned not as conquerors but as protectors. Their Project Revenant ships patrolled borders. Their scientists shared knowledge. Their diplomats reached out with open hands. Commander Reyes stood before the Terran Defense Council, answering questions from alien leaders. He spoke with quiet strength. "We fought because no one else could," he said. "But now we fight because we choose to protect all life, together." But peace did not come easily. Some systems had been lost forever. Ancient cities lay in ruins. The Vork had destroyed much, and rebuilding would take time. Captain Mira traveled to one of the shattered worlds to help. She worked with engineers and volunteers from many races. Slowly, they rebuilt homes and factories. Slowly, they rebuilt hope. Meanwhile, Admiral Zirith returned to Valnari. His people greeted him like a hero. He brought news of the humans' bravery and the new alliance. "We will never forget who stood with us when we had no one else," he told the crowd. The Valnari raised their banners high, promising to protect the galaxy alongside their new friends. On Earth, Commander Reyes and Captain Mira met once more on the deck of the Nightfall. "The galaxy owes you a debt," Mira said. Reyes shook his head. "We only did what was needed. The real heroes are those who survived and kept fighting." Mira smiled. "Humans have a saying, 'United we stand.' Looks like we finally mean it." Reyes looked out at the stars. "This is just the beginning." In the quiet that followed, new ships launched, new treaties were signed, and new explorers set out to map the stars once more. The galaxy, once crushed and broken, had found its light again, and it was a light that shone brightest when humans and aliens stood side by side.